Hi you guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be about a couple of magic tricks that went wrong. It's not on X Factor, so sorry about that. I didn't get it today, but we'll be watching on YouTube on my 55-inch TV. And yeah, let's see what happens, okay?
If you guys want to win an Apple iPad 9.7 Pro, all you need to do is leave a like and comment, hit the subscribe button and make sure bell notification is turned on. Magic tricks can fill us with a sense of childlike wonderment. For a clever card trick to a mullet-era David Copperfield illusion, we love to be fooled. Magic tricks can fill us with a sense of childlike wonderment. For a clever card trick to a mullet-era David Copperfield illusion, we love to be fooled. Unfortunately, not all magicians escape the dramatic scenarios unscathed. Take a look at 7 illusionists who didn't have enough time up their sleeves to avoid being mangled. Number 7. Knife throwing trick goes wrong. Very inexperienced street performer fails to catch a knife thrown by a random audience member. Cuts his hand very badly. It was actually a good trick. He made his fingers disappear.
Can you have a big knife? A little bit harder. Are you right-handed or left-handed? Are you right or left-handed? Are you fucking drunk? You know, with your vagina, please. No, with your right hand, please. With your right hand, that'd be awesome. Turn it around, please. A little bit stronger than the fire. But none of that shit. Good. Good. Bad. If you throw the knife like this, I will throw the fire back. Obviously. Let's try this out, guys. Put your hand high on the handle. Here we go. 1, 2. The American chick. 3. Ay, 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 ay. Ha, 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 ha. Guys, this was the show. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Tell that little time.
Number 6. Cutting girl in half. In this trick, a woman is placed inside a box, with only her legs and head popping out at either end. A saw cuts through the box, cutting the woman in half, with her legs and head still moving. But the guy in the video completely ruined the trick.
Alright, so, okay.
drowns. During an NBA halftime show, a female magician, Kristen Johnson, blacks out from a hypoxic seizure while performing Houdini's water torture cell trick. She was pulled out of the water in time. This was her 599th attempt. 7 days later, she was back in the water cell at Ford Park Center Arena in Beaumont, Texas, for 4,000 people.
Okay guys, we're gonna watch it.
Number 4. Failed card trick. This trick was to act like you messed up a few times and then eventually get right to the point shocking everyone. But that wasn't the case. The man messed up the trick and ended up being embarrassed.
Oh, I know this one. It's boring as hell.
Number 3. Sword swallowing trick failed. The man mistakenly exposed the whole trick and ended up being embarrassed in front of the public.
You want money? Money! Yeah, come on, yeah!
Number 2. Knife throwing accident on live TV. Circus knife thrower Jane Hansen, 23, was aiming to throw as many knives as possible in a minute. But with just 10 seconds remaining, a stray blade sliced his wife's head. Visibly shaken, Yana Rodlinov, 22, lost her trademark grin and grimaced as she began to shake and duck the barrage of knives. And she had to finish the TV item with knives skimming dangerously close to her head as blood trickled down her face. Number 1. Magician accidentally killed his wife. A magician was performing the sawing in half illusion. He was using his own wife as his assistant.
God.
He placed her in a box to saw her in half, but instead of sawing with the traditional handsaw, he chose to use a more dangerous chainsaw. The assistant got stuck and was unable to slide out of the box in time. She was trying to signal the magician, but because of noise from the chainsaw and the overall ambience on the stage, the magician could not hear and ran the chainsaw down across her throat.
No way! No!
easily cut his assistant's legs from her body. When it came to the separation of the head, the assistant's head got stuck in the magic box. She didn't pull her head into the middle part of the box and change it for the fake head. She tried to signal the problem, but her partner didn't notice because of the noise of the music and the chainsaw. The 37-year-old
Oh god, oh my god.
Every time you do, I get out of my mind, just sounds.
Okay guys, we'll do another one and that'll be it for this video.
Hi everyone. Magicians around the world are constantly upgrading their tricks, inventing and putting into practice the craziest ideas, and sometimes even playing with death. And all that for the viewers. They want the show to absorb our attention completely. Deep in our minds, we know that it is just an illusion. But shit, how can you stay calm in front of this madness? However, the desire of fame often makes magicians do really dangerous tricks, and sometimes they don't end very well. Today, we'll tell you about tricks that didn't went as intended. Let's get it on. Charles Rowan, also known as Carr the Mysterious, was a South African illusionist. His favourite tricks were hanging straitjacket escapes and jumps onto a pile of broken glass. In 1930, Carr was doing a performance in Springfontein, Orange Free State, South Africa. He was doing a very dangerous trick. He had been tied with a straitjacket and had to escape from it, while a car was heading straight at him at a pace of 25 miles per hour from a distance of 600 feet. Therefore, Carr had only 10 to 15 seconds to escape the straitjacket if he wanted to get off the track of the car. He couldn't make it in time though, and the car ran him over. The performance was finished, obviously, and Charles was sent to a hospital immediately. Hundreds of people witnessed the incident and probably remembered it for a long time. And we hope they never brought their kids again to these kind of shows. Benjamin Rucker. He used to perform under the name Black Herman. He's on our list, although he died from natural causes. The thing is, no one bought it. Black Herman was the most prominent African-American magician of his time. He did his shows mostly for black audiences on the South due to segregation laws, but he was also very popular in other parts of the country. He was famous because of his favorite bury me alive trick. In it, he got buried underground for 3 whole days, and then his assistants dug him out. After that, he successfully continued performing. Ironically, he had a heart attack during one of the shows, and he died because of it. But no one believed it because, obviously, they all thought it was a part of the show. His assistants even managed to benefit from it, selling tickets to view Rucker's corpse at the funeral. Royden Joseph Gilbert Raison de la Canesta, but you can call him simply Canesta. His visit card was escaping barrels filled with some liquid. The tricks were simple and elegant. The magician was enclosed in a water barrel and he had to escape before suffocating. Unfortunately, in 1930, during a performance, it turned out that the barrel had dents which limited his movement. As a result, Joseph couldn't open it and drowned. The incident, however, had a bizarre effect. Instead of being banned or at least restricted somehow, the trick became very popular among viewers and magicians. Yet another proof that crowds love death-defying entertainment. Joseph Burris. 32-year-old Joseph Burris had a dream to beat his idol, Harry Houdini. One night in 1992, he tried to perform a trick that the famous illusionist couldn't, to be buried alive and get out. So, Joseph put on his handcuffs, then his assistant locked him up in a coffin and buried him alive under 6.5 feet of mud and concrete. Oddly enough, no one could convince Joseph that it was impossible. While he was preparing for the show, the reporter that covered the performance warned him again, the concrete dries out faster at the bottom than at the top, he explained. Therefore, even if not crushed to death, he would still have to dig his way out through a couple of feet of mud and hardened concrete without much air. Nonetheless, the concrete was not a problem for Burris. He was squashed under the huge weight before he even began to get up. Samuel Koch. December the 5th, 2015. About 10 million people were watching the live transmission of the popular German show Wetten das, German for Wanna Bet That. That day, 23-year-old Samuel Koch was one of the participants. He had to jump over 5 moving cars using so-called kangaroo boots. Everything was going great, but when he got to the 4th car, one of the boots failed, and Samuel couldn't jump as high as he needed. The audience and the presenter were shocked, and the program was taken off air immediately. Doctors took the guy to the hospital. He underwent 2 operations and spent 10 days in a coma after breaking the cervical vertebrae. He survived, but ended up paralyzed. Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks, and we'll be right back.
10 people with real superpowers love it.
To you as fast as we can.
Alright, so this is the next
Hey
one.
everybody, how's it going? Extreme Trends here. Breaking a world record has become something for the overachievers in life to aim for. If you've got a talent for something obscure, then there's no better way to show it off than to try and break a world record. Since the launch of the Guinness World Records back in 1955, people have gone above and beyond to prove that they are the best in their field. However, it doesn't always go quite to plan. So let's take a look at 10 world records that went horribly wrong. Number 10, 1986 Balloon Fest. If you haven't guessed already, this has got to do with a lot of balloons, specifically 1.5 million of them. Volunteers in Cleveland, Ohio were attempting to raise money for charity by inflating helium balloons in the town square ready to be released. A host of people sat at the tables underneath a giant net dome, inflating hot air balloons and releasing them into the air. The net was designed to hold them in place until the big release to set them all into the air. But sadly, no one decided to check the weather forecast that day. When the weather turned nasty, the net started to move the giant mass of inflatables, so the decision was made for the balloons to be released early. However, unfortunately, it didn't go as they planned. Rather than flying off and spreading far and wide all over the state and beyond as a big accomplishment, the balloons wreaked absolute havoc, descending back into the city, all over the harbour and even the airport, causing absolute chaos with transport systems and basically making a giant mess that took a lot of time and effort and money to clean up. Not only that, but because the weather blew so many balloons into the sea, unfortunately lifeguards couldn't save 2 drowning citizens, so they ended up drowning. Such an unfortunate ending. Number 9, world record car jump attempt. Back in 2014, a skier and rally car driver Julian Trichs attempted to beat the world record for the biggest car jump. Jumping a car from any distance is absolutely terrifying. We all know that cars crashing at high speeds is dangerous enough, but if you factor in a giant leap, then the force of impact is significantly heightened. Months of planning and years of experience doesn't guarantee a smooth run, no matter how many times you practice. On the day, Trichs reached speeds of 130 miles per hour down a snow-covered hill, up a ramp, and planned to reach the other side some distance away. Unfortunately, he fell just short of it, and the nose of the car crashed straight down in a horrific crash after just reaching the other side. The car rolled several times and was completely destroyed. You can hear Trichs' wife crying in the background, but amazingly he escaped with only minor cuts and bruises thanks to the support bar and rigorous safety training. The huge crash didn't deter the sportsman though, because he vowed to try it again. Number 8, death-defying downhill cycle. Cycling downhill can be pretty scary at the best of times, but factor in trying to break a world record and you've got something most of us would run away from. French sportsman Eric Barron currently holds the world speed title for the bicycle, but it wasn't quite the clean victory he had hoped for. This was an event that the cyclist had planned for miraculously over the course of months, even designing a bike built to stand such high speeds. In theory, everything was right, but as we all know, what starts out right can often end wrong. During his test run, Eric reached speeds of 83 miles per hour. So when he broke 107 miles per hour during his attempt, his team were ecstatic. Everything seemed to have gone well up until the end of the run, when Eric specifically built 5 shockingly and snapped in two, saying the unknown record holder had